Hey guys, Louie here, and it is time to update the Big Mac Index and its relationship to silver. This is kind of the dummy's guide to what silver is worth, and what we're going to do is I'm going to reprise a video I did a couple years ago, actually 2014, which compared silver prices to the Big Mac Index. And I'm going to play a little bit of that, and then we're going to update the Big Mac Index to find out what inflation-adjusted silver should be selling for today. Okay, here we go. Hi YouTube, Losing Louie here, and you may be wondering what a Big Mac and a hunk of silver have in common. First off, thanks to Jim Croce for that song that I opened with. I was reviewing measures of inflation, and I came across something that I thought was quite interesting. It's called the Big Mac Index, and as you know, the government lies to us about the true cost of inflation. They do that so they can minimize the cost of living increases to senior citizens. And it's basically a giant fraud that's perpetrated on the Americans. But if you track something like a Big Mac, something that has all the costs loaded into it that we all have to incur these days, then you can get a true cost of inflation. And this measure, the Big Mac Index, is actually used to measure comparative costs around the world. But I have just downloaded 2006 through 2014 Big Mac costs. And I think I pulled the right data. So at the end of each of these years, we have put the price of a Big Mac. And you probably won't be surprised to know that a Big Mac has gone from $3.10 up to $4.80 is the most current measure. The price of silver, on the other hand, has fluctuated quite a bit. Back in December of 2006, it was $12.72, $14.80, $10.72 in 2008. By 2010, it was ratcheting up to 31 bucks. It popped up to 40. Fell back to 30 in 2011, and then we've seen the continuous drop all the way through the current point in time, which is was yesterday, November 4th, I believe, about $16. So what I've done here is I've turned these numbers into proportions and compared them with the base year being 2006 and graphed them. And let me pull that graph up. And Jimmy Rogers, feel free to use this new measure if you like. But here is the cost of silver equated back to the cost of a Big Mac in 2006. And as you can see, silver ramped up, way up compared to inflation, which is a Big Mac is approximating, and then crashed. But what's interesting is we've had an intersection of the lines. And now silver, on a relative basis, is less expensive than a Big Mac by quite a bit. So the question is, when people talk about $5 silver and $7 silver, and when we look at the cost of mining and the dismal, results of the miners, I don't think there's a whole lot more downside here. But that's just my opinion. Okay guys, I am back, and that was done in 2014 when silver was $16, and at that point I was predicting that we would not see $5 or $10 silver, and looks like I was correct. In fact, 16 silver bounced off 14 and headed back up to over 20 over the next couple of years, 3 years. So it worked, right? I mean, it is a common sense measure that if everything in the world gets more expensive, the things that you use and buy get more expensive over time, why in the world would silver get less expensive? All right, it's just common sense. This is the dummy's measure. So I think the time has come to update this for 2017, and let's see where the silver price is relative to the new cost of a Big Mac. Okay, so here we go. I have updated this, and now it runs from 2006 to 2017. You can go to any McDonald's now, and you'll find a Big Mac costs $5.30. Everybody talks about deflation, right? Well, you certainly don't see it in the cost of a fully loaded product like a Big Mac. Silver costs $16.49, so I have put those numbers in over here to the right. And what we see is that the index for a Big Mac is 1.71, and the revised index for a price of silver is 1.31. If we go to our chart, so where is the Big Mac? Hold on, let me expand this. 1.71 is right about there. So a Big Mac has become more expensive, big surprise. And where is silver? 1.31, which is right about there, a little bit above where it was 3 years ago. So the gap between the two has actually increased. So that would tell you that if the Big Mac is a good judge of inflation, that silver is actually nearly equal to the biggest variance from that price since around 2008. All right, so this is the Dummy's Guide to Silver, but when people say silver is going to be $9, right? All right, I don't see it. I don't know why people say that. I don't know why people think that unless manipulation is the reason for it. Because when everything in the world gets more expensive every year, and okay, not everything, some things do get, cheaper. I understand, maybe cell phones and so forth. But when you fully load the cost of labor and insurance and rent and everything that is needed to create a Big Mac, you see that silver is not going to drop to some arbitrary level unless you think in a recession and in a deflationary environment a Big Mac will become $2. Personally, I don't think that. But I guess that would be your response to this if you did not agree that silver could drop to half the relative value of inflation of an inflated Big Mac. But so I've droned on long enough, but I would say that we are A-OK. There's nothing wrong with $16 silver. I do think you should wait to buy until maybe December. Maybe we'll get another drop down in the 15s and 14s. But as you saw the last time I did this in 2014, when everybody was predicting $10 silver, it went down, it went right back up. So this is history and this is logic, and it's good to base your beliefs on something other than a hunch. And this is as good as any, I think. It is the Big Mac Index, my friends. Okay, so if you feel like buying some silver, go out there and buy some silver. Come on. All right, Louis signing out. Thanks.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.